It was a crime that rocked the calm of an upscale lakefront community. A Kenosha County woman dies, poisoned with antifreeze.
More shocking, she saw it coming and sent police a letter pointing the finger at her husband. This week, 7 years after her death, the case took center stage in Wisconsin's Supreme Court. 12 News reporter Colleen Henry has investigated this story for years. She was there as prosecutors asked the state's highest court to let a jury see that letter and allow Julie Jensen to speak from the grave.
Julie Jensen's death raises a constitutional dilemma. The Sixth Amendment ensures a defendant the right to confront his accusers. But how do you cross-examine an accuser who's dead? That conflict is now in the hands of Wisconsin's Supreme Court.
It's been 7 years since rescue crews converged on this sleepy lakefront community to try to save a 40-year-old wife and mother. Julie Jensen didn't make it. It took 3 years, but prosecutors charged her husband, Mark, with murder, saying it took that long to collect the evidence they say proves he plotted, then poisoned his wife with antifreeze.
I'd love to talk, but I'm not going to.
Mark Jensen is free on $350,000 cash bail while the case works its way through court. An odyssey that this week landed at the doors of Wisconsin's Supreme Court. The High Court must decide whether a jury will hear the evidence Julie Jensen left behind, in which she expressed fear she might be murdered.
Julie cried out in the only way she knew possible, and I think she did the best anyone could do under the circumstances.
Julie's brothers traveled to the Supreme Court to hear oral arguments and for the first time expressed their frustration with the legal battle over their sister's words of warning. The argument centers on this letter. In the days after her death, a neighbor handed it to police. Julie had asked him to turn it over if anything happened to her. It reads, "This list was in my husband's business daily planner. I don't know what it means, but if anything happens to me, he would be my first suspect." The list includes the note's own drug supply, Librium, booze, razor blades, syringe. Investigators seized Jensen's computer, which offered prosecutors a possible motive for Julie's murder, evidence of an affair between Mark Jensen and another woman. More incriminating, evidence police say shows Mark spent 6 weeks online plotting to poison Julie. Hits on websites about botulism, physician-assisted suicide, then in the week before Julie's death, several hits on sites about antifreeze poisoning. From the beginning, Mark Jensen's attorneys have argued that jurors should not see Julie's letter because she wasn't available to testify, and the Sixth Amendment guarantees a defendant the right to cross-examine his accusers in court. This week, Wisconsin Supreme Court justices heard both sides.
We're going to find ourselves in some situations where we have innocent people wrongfully convicted because statements are introduced without cross-examination.
How can you complain that you don't have the right to confront somebody because they're unavailable when you made that person unavailable? Jensen rendered Julie unavailable for cross-examination by killing her.
The Chief Justice expressed concerns about a hard and fast rule keeping the words of an apparent murder victim away from a jury.
What can she do? She says she's in fear of her life. She's relatively sure she's going to get murdered. What can we do to protect that evidence?
Mark Jensen did not attend this week's hearing. Julie Jensen's brothers watched, but may have to wait months for the court's decision.
It's taken so long to get here, and we're only part of the way there. We haven't gotten to trial yet, and that's our main hope, is that we can get to trial.
And her family expects Mark Jensen to put Julie on trial by claiming she committed suicide after learning of Mark's affair, plotting her own death, and pointing the finger at him in final revenge.
He will paint as drastic a picture as he can of Julie and her family relations. He's in a desperate situation. His life is on the line.
Meanwhile, they worry about Julie's sons. The boys live with Mark and haven't been allowed to see their mom's family since her death. Paul Griffin worries the boys will go through life not knowing how much their mom loved them.
She loved them dearly, and she never would have left them.
Paul Griffin says he's accepted the fact that Jensen may never be convicted, but he believes God is on Julie's side, even if the law isn't.
I ask people out there, what if it was your wife? What if it was your daughter? What if it was someone you knew who was reaching out in that way? And yet the way the law is stated is such that that evidence can't be admitted into court. To me, that's ridiculous.
Mark Jensen didn't respond to 12 News' request for comment, but even if he loses his bid to keep his wife's letter from the jury, he may not really lose. He's expected to defend himself by claiming Julie committed suicide after plotting her revenge for his infidelity by writing the letter to frame him for murder. Mike, Kai.
A decision from the Supreme Court could take several months.